Hey everybody, happy Wellness Wednesday. Marco Rodriguez coming at you. Wow, so today I've got a great story for you. I've got Liz Nelson. Liz, thank you so much for being here with me. So those of you who know me know that I've been a healthcare professional for well over 26 years. And in that time, I've seen just remarkable comeback stories with regards to health and just getting people's lives back. But very rarely have I ever heard of someone with such a comprehensive list of things that were just not going right inside the body, and how once you took control of her body by biohacking, how just some of those things actually most of those things really just turn themselves around. So I'm sure our audience is dying to hear your story. Please tell us. Let's start from the beginning and let's work our way to where you're at today.
All right, so it's almost hard to know where to start because the progress has been so just miraculous. I've always had a really terrible immune system, I guess I would say. And, I've never heard of this term biohacking, where your body is actually able to heal itself through nutrition. And it was a life changer for me. It was a game changer because, at a very early age, I was very sick. I got mono at the age of like 8 or 9. And what kid is, when you're out playing and you're not feeling good, it just starts your life kind of on a rough note, And it kind of, I'd have years where I just felt great, and then years that were just like, the whole year just seemed like a black hole. And depression from some of those things kind of set in very early, like 13, 14 years old. When I was 15, it was one of those down years. And my parents and I were like, what is going on? Because we're just not happy, we're not feeling good. And so we found a doctor who did a scope on me, and they did a scope from my esophagus down through my intestinal tract. And what they found was candida overgrowth so bad that the doctor was like, the only time I never still miss the patient is when they've undergone chemo because their immune system is that bad. And so it was just, okay, so what do we do about this? And so they filled me up with, Dupont, how do you say it? The stuff that, it's basically a drug that helps with your gut health. And through that and nutrition, I was able to get better for a couple of years. I went on to play college softball, and I kind of felt like the top of my game, but I really wasn't. My batting average was the highest on the team, but I couldn't run a mile. And my coach was like, "Come on, Liz, you can bench press the most, but you can barely sprint around the bases." And I'm trying, guys, but it was just my body was not allowing me to perform at the level that I knew I could, and it was super frustrating. And the next year I got married with the love of my life, and things were going great for about a year. I was feeling pretty good, and then it kind of just went downhill. And you can imagine that when you're not feeling well and you're trying to, give 100% to a marriage and you're just sleeping all the time, and it's tough. And so it really took a toll on our relationship. And I would go, 2 or 3 days without sleeping, like at home, I just couldn't sleep. And so, as you can imagine, from the gut health and from not sleeping and depression, I was on like 10 or 12 different restrictions. And I didn't know what to do. Yeah, it was insane. So I found a doctor that was like, I don't know how to help you, but I know someone I think can. So I went up to the Mayo Clinic up in Phoenix, and I worked with the doctor for 2 years. And he said, let's completely, in a way, rehash your system. I washed my hair in the shower for 2 years. I wanted to get all the chemicals off my body so my body could have a chance to heal. I did that for 2 years, washing my hair, not in the shower, in the sink. He had me buy special toilet paper that I carried around in a little Ziploc bag.
Carried around
everywhere I went for 2 years. And I used my special non-toxic toilet paper. And after 2 years, still felt like crap, and it said, "Peace out." I didn't even think of that. So I just, this holistic stuff is not for me. I tried it, it's not working. I still feel like, crap. And, I'm just going to go back to my pharmaceutical drugs because it actually had an instant effect where I felt somewhat normal. And so, I did that. And during this time, my husband and I were trying to have a child. And we tried for a couple of years with really no success. And we went to the in vitro people, and they were like, it should be working. We don't know why not. So I didn't have to go that route. But then we were able to conceive naturally. super exciting. And through that point, I became a stay-at-home mom. My job by nature is I'm a teacher. I'm a middle school teacher. So right now I teach 6th grade, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade writing. And I absolutely love it. It's phenomenal. So I became a stay-at-home mom, and I always knew I wanted a business. Never in a million years did I think I would be in a biohacking health company, because with my experience with that health professional, I really wanted.
So you had had experience with holistic medicine before,
right?
So it's natural that you would have your doubts about it.
Absolutely, and I felt like I had tried everything. I had tried all the probiotics on the market, and I was still having gut health problems. I had tried just a gamut of different health companies, product-wise, customer-wise. And so when I found this company, I was like, okay, business-wise, I have seen nothing else. I mean, it was the best business decision I could have for my family, because we're publicly traded, we're on the New York Stock Exchange. The person that shared it with me had integrity, financially stable, and I knew I wanted that mentorship more than anything. And I knew the products were working for people, but I was like, they're not going to work for me. But I know they'll work for other people, so I'll tell people that. And after about a year, it wasn't even a year, it was about 3 months on the product, my depression was almost gone. And I'm like, I still can't tell people that, because my belief wasn't there yet. And then, 6 months later, I had a sports injury in my hip, and I stopped limping. I'm like, yeah, I'm still not, I don't know yet. I'm super skeptical. And then, a year later, I'm off of like half of my prescriptions, and I'm like, okay, so there's something going on. So then I go to PubMed, and I start looking at the Protandim studies, and I had looked at it before, but never in the depth of like a scientist, And I print out the 28 studies, I'm reading through them, I'm highlighting everything, and I'm like, holy crap, like this is real. And
the science is real.
The science is real. I mean, you can't argue with the Heart Association. You can't argue with Harvard.
Right.
And I knew that.
And some people will.
Yeah, some people.
Well,
Absolutely.
actually, so we have studies. LSU did a study in conjunction with the Skin Cancer Foundation. The American Heart Association published a 26-page article in Circulation Magazine. John Hopkins did a study with our product in terms of lung cancer. But yet, there will be people who are going to argue, saying, well, I don't know if I believe in validity. Well, I'm sorry, if I'm going to choose between you and Harvard, I think I'll pick Harvard. So,
absolutely. So that's why I made the business decision, is because I'm not going to argue with Harvard. But I also knew that my health was down here, and I didn't believe that it could be up here.
Right.
Especially with some of the health issues in my family, and I wasn't there yet. And probably the turning point was with my daughter. So my daughter is 6 years old. She has autism. I'm sorry. And she was almost 5 years old, and she wasn't talking. She knew 2 words, and she was in preschool. And as a mom, you're just you want your kids to be successful, and you want them to even be more successful than you are. And I heard of this brain mapping that you guys are doing with autism, and I said, it's a natural product, it's not going to hurt. And so I put her on Protandim for 2 weeks. And I was taking weekly sign language classes at the library, because I heard that if you can teach them to sign, it will, help develop their comprehension.
Exactly. That early language starts to develop.
Right. And so she's almost 5 years old, and I tried to teach her to sign I started at 3. So from 3 to 5, trying to teach her to sign, and she knew a couple of her colors, but it wasn't getting anywhere. I put her on Protandim for 2 weeks. She learned 200 sign words in those 2 weeks. And I'm like...
So she went from...
like nothing.
Almost nothing.
Almost nothing.
To 200 sign language words.
Right. It was probably like 2 to 3 weeks.
2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, holy goodness, like, holy cow, right? And so, now she's at preschool, and it kind of unlocked her brain in a way. And so now she's coming home with these new concepts, and she's not still able to verbalize them. But about 4 months later, she is full on speaking full sentences. And she only took Protandim for 2 weeks.
Wait, and at this point, she's how old?
She's 4 and a half.
So she hadn't been speaking. She starts signing, and then
They just like
a while later, something happened in her brain.
Right.
She started full on speaking.
right.
Wow.
And we were that was August, because I remember giving her the products, and nerve 2 activators when she started preschool. And she started signing at school, and we had our teachers working with her with signs and stuff. And then we went on vacation in December, and we were walking down this pier, and she jumps up and she says, "Dad, look!" And we're like crying, and what just happened, you know? And so, and she told us to stop, and we're looking at each other like, did that just happen? And then it literally was like, it just unfolded from there. And now she's reading at grade level, she's doing math above grade level, she's just advanced so much. And typically when you're that far behind, it's going to take you, you know, you're in middle school, high school before.
So how old is she now?
She's 6.
She's 6 years old. So all this is that's a very, very short period of time to make all of these changes.
Right.
And so obviously it was in this.
Right. And this hadn't been a lot.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, and now she's got a lot of sensory issues. We've worked through a lot of them. But I'm not one to like force my kid. But like when they're ready and when God knows they're ready, they'll advance, you know. And so it was like another year before she was able to take more product because the sensory issues, she doesn't like the feel, the taste. And I just kept praying when she's ready and when it's time, she will. And so I started talking to her about, you know, how her brain works and how this will help her in school. And she finally came to the point where Mom, we're ready to try it. And it had been 5.5 years and she'd only slept through the night maybe a handful of times. And holy cow, was that exhausting. To the point where I've never actually shared this with anybody except maybe 2 people. But I got diagnosed with PTSD because of all the stress, and I was having severe memory problems. And then she started sleeping through the night, and holy cow, that was a game changer for my relationship, for her family, for everything. And that just helped her cognitive ability even further.
Helps you too.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. So, and I'm all over my PTSD now. I think it was just a phase that I don't want to go back to.
Right. So now you mentioned at the beginning of the interview that you have a business. So you've taken your biohacking experience and become a part of this biohacking movement. So you're an entrepreneur, right? And so you started a home-based business, right? And from what we were talking about, we were discussing earlier, so you have a mission to share this with people around the world.
Absolutely. I mean, now I have 2 prescriptions under my name. I take them occasionally. Just, you know, sometimes just need that little bit, but I'm on the path of going to 12 down to 2 that my body is rebooting. And one of the things I shared with you before was, you know, the stories I had with my tumors inside my body. And I had that major surgery at the beginning of the year. And when my doctor went in for the preliminary surgery just to see what was going on inside me, she found 2 tumors. One that she was like, okay, this organ is done, we're done with it. And the other one, she's like, well, we're going to go in, we're going to stitch some stuff up, take some stuff out, but it's not going to be a huge surgery. I doubled up on the products, and 3 months later, when I went back in for the surgery, she could not find the second tumor. And I'm like, okay, so I was having some self-confidence issues, not really wanting to speak up about products. I was really leading my business with business and financials and money and stock and all of that. But when you have one story after another, it comes to a point where it's not a financial decision for my family anymore. It is, but I feel morally obligated as a person and a human being to go forward and say, okay, so this has changed my life. We've got the science and the studies to say it can change your life. Give it a try.
Well, you know, there's a lot of people out there, I'm sure there's a lot of people in our audience right now that are struggling not only with their health, but also struggling financially, they're struggling emotionally, they're stressed out with work, they're stressed out with family relationships, their health conditions, and you have a solution for them. You know, so this has helped you. Your health is better, right?
It's getting there. Like I feel better than I've ever felt in my whole life.
And business is going well?
It's going awesome.
Awesome. All right. Anything else you want to share?
I don't know.
would you say to anyone that's out there in our audience that is sort of on the fence and kind of struggling back and forth? Should they really look into biohacking? Because again, I'm sure a lot of our audience has had sort of less than spectacular results from going through natural, products. There's a lot of what's the term, snake oil.
Yeah.
So and there's a lot of that going on. But how is ours different?
I think because it is a network marketing company, and people think, well, network marketing is known for, makeup and jewelry and things that don't have science behind it. They don't have patented products. They don't have peer-reviewed studies. I would just say, don't let that throw you off the fact that, Washington State said this is the most therapeutic and preventative breakthrough in the history of medicine. And, do your due diligence. And whether you're like myself and have a gamut of health problems you're trying to correct, or you're like Marco here, who is healthy and wants to stay on that health-activated path, whether it's prevention or intervention, there's something here that can really turn on your body's ability to heal itself and to maintain that health and that, that's what I want people to know.
Awesome. Well, Liz, thank you so much for meeting with me. I'm just blown away by your story. So I want to thank you and I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're going to do very, very well. I just know it. I can't wait to see your name and going down in history as one of the top biohackers in this country. So,
We're getting there.
Absolutely. So guys, that concludes our interview for today. Guys, happy Wellness Wednesday to you. And just remember, as I always like to say, there is a better way to live.